Are cold air intakes like this one right here a scam? I'm here to tell you the truth. But first, here's some intake noises. So what is a cold air intake? So it's an aftermarket part that replaces your car's factory air intake system. This is what mine looks like right here. So you've got the filter, usually a cone type filter like this. Sometimes they've got the little like half box and then the intake tube. That's all that really makes up a cold air intake. So the theory behind cold air intakes is simple. You get cooler air, which is more dense, contains more oxygen, and leads to more combustion for more power. Sounds convincing, right? But it's not that simple. Really, it depends on what car you're putting it on and what the intake is. They're all different kinds of intakes. So this one specifically is big enough that you have to tune the car so it doesn't throw a check engine light, because this tube is so much bigger than the stock one. So this is what the stock intake looked like on my 2007 Mustang GT. And you can see here, really the diameter difference is huge on this new one. See how it has to neck down here for the stock one? Also, this is the only spot that air comes in, which it gets it through a spot in the fender there. So this one has much more air density going through it. So, I know a lot of you guys are going to say, well, this one's just sucking in hot air. Well, that might be true, but it's still getting much more airflow into the intake and into your engine. So it's a lot more common to have a really good cold air intake system for a performance car like, say, a Mustang. But what about regular everyday cars? Well, I'm going to show you one right now. So this is my wife's 2023 Ford Bronco. Now it's got the 2.7 liter EcoBoost, and it is bone stock. It's only got like 1,000 miles on it. You can see the factory intake setup here. It's kind of crazy. I mean, if you follow it, this is where your air's coming in, but go all the way across here. This is the only spot that the air is coming into the intake on this car. And that has to go all the way across over the hot radiator and then into the intake. So I mean, it's a little different in this aspect. I'm pretty sure Ford did this to keep, you know, mud and water from coming in to the intake system, because this is an off-road car, but it's still not getting very good airflow through it. And these tubes are pretty tiny. So in the case of this car, I would say a cold air intake would actually get you a little bit of power, a little more response. But being that it's so new, you don't really want to screw with it and mess with the factory warranty. Certain ones like this, where they've got options from like Roush Performance, they'll partner with Ford and retain your factory warranty when you put that certain one on. So that's something to look into as well if you got a newer vehicle. Make sure it doesn't void your factory warranty. So neither of the two vehicles here that I'm showing you have the silencer boxes, but some of your cars you may have seen like a big square box that sits by the intake tube, and that really is just to make your intake quieter. That's kind of a factory thing with noise regulations. I don't know if it's, you know, California crap or what, but these intakes, the cold air intakes, are much louder, which I think is a lot better, but some people don't like that. So if the noise bothers you, the whistling noise of an intake, then you would not like a cold air intake. So, are cold air intakes a scam? I don't think so, but on some vehicles, the only thing they're going to do for you is make a louder noise. And most of the time, they're upwards of $300 or more. So, really do your research for your specific vehicle, and also look for ones that have dyno charts available that actually show a power increase, because a lot of them claim to increase horsepower, but that's not always the case. So if you can find one that shows a dyno chart, or even better, you can find third-party dyno tests on it, then that's what you should go with if you're looking for more power. And that way you know it actually works. Some of them, in the case of my car, with the tune attached, I mean, you have to run a tune to do this intake at all, but they show a dyno chart of an extra 30 horsepower and 32 foot-pounds of torque. So certain vehicles, it really wakes them up. This one, it definitely did, and I can tell you for sure that it works. Another thing to look out for is what kind of air filter the company is using for their cold air intake. Because a lot of the time, they're not actually making the filter, they're using someone else's filter. So always make sure that they don't cheap out on that, because that's definitely the most important part of all this. This one that I've got uses the S&B filters, which are really nice, so I'm not worried about that at all. But some of them pretty dang cheap, so be careful with that. And I know a lot of you guys are saying, oh, I saw Scotty Kilmer. Like, well, keep watching Scotty Kilmer about performance parts if you want to drive a Camry for the rest of your life and never have fun. I don't think any of his stuff on cold air intakes is accurate. I mean, certain vehicles it is, but performance cars are another story, and really it's an individual case, you know. So do your research. I think they work great, but tell me what you think below. If you like this, let me know what other parts you want me to review or tell you my experience about, and I'll go ahead and do it. So thanks for watching.